As the sun filtered through the viewport of the starship Endeavour, Captain Alex Mercer found solace among the humming machinery of the engine room. A modest mechanic by trade, Alex made a living fixing the ship's intricate systems. Humanity's clumsy dexterity, or so he joked, had led to some amusing mishaps in the past, and today was no exception. His hands, dirtied and grease-streaked, contrasted sharply with the sleek, elegant tools of his alien crewmates. "Look at these stupid hands," he cried, waving them exaggeratedly. The crew gathered, chuckling at his antics. Nara, the ship's enigmatic pilot, flashed a knowing smile. "They might not look like much, Alex, but I've seen you make wonders with those so-called stupid hands." The captain of the ship, a no-nonsense veteran named Captain Hawk, interrupted their convivial banter with news of a distress signal from a nearby colony. The crew debated the merits of rushing into unknown danger. "We could save lives," Alex insisted, though his heart thudded with doubt. "But what if it's a trap?" protested Lieutenant Voss, his brow furrowed in concern. "Every second we waste could mean someone's life," Alex countered, the passion in his voice surprising everyone, including himself. Despite the skepticism that loomed, they decided to respond, and Alex felt a flicker of excitement. As the ship powered up, he felt the weight of possible failure poised on his shoulders. Little did he know, this mission would challenge more than just his mechanical skills, but would reshape his destiny forever. The ship hums with energy, and Alex's nerves transform into anticipation. He couldn't shake the feeling that today would be different. It would be an adventure that might reveal just how far a mechanic could stretch his so-called stupid hands and perhaps discover the true strength within himself. The Endeavour rocketed through the void, its systems thrumming with life. As they entered the colonized sector, an eerie silence engulfed them. Sensors blared warnings, confirming everyone's worst fears. The colony was under siege. The Krelthons, a vicious alien race known for their brutal raids, were ravaging the settlement. "Get us closer," Captain Hawk barked. The urgency in his voice ignited a flurry of activity among the crew. Alex's heart raced, the laughter of earlier replaced by a heavy rhythm of dread. "Crank up the shields," he shouted, his mechanical instincts kicking in. But, in an unthinkable turn, an explosion rocked the ship, sending Alex sprawling. He quickly scrambled back to his feet, eyes darting to find the source of the damage. Chaos unfolded around him, alarms screeched, and panicked voices clashed as the crew struggled to regain control. Suddenly, Hawk fell, blood pooling beneath him as he gasped for breath. A collective gasp echoed through the ship. Alex felt the gravity of the moment surge through him. "You've got to take command, Alex," Hawk rasped, locking eyes with him. "They need you." Panic and disbelief flooded Alex's mind. A mechanic? Responsible for lives? He hesitated, but the urgency pressed on him, jolting him into action. I can do this," he muttered, though the words barely rang true. As he steadied himself, Alex took a deep breath. He rallied the crew, forming a battle plan even as fear clung to his gut. With each command, he felt a flicker of strength overshadowing his doubts. He would lead them. They would fight back. But as he glanced back at Hawk, who lay fading in and out of consciousness, he couldn't shake the haunting question. Would he be enough? With the Endeavour spiraling toward the colony, adrenaline surged through Alex's veins as he hastily formulated a plan. "We need to disrupt their control. Focus on targeting their main ship systems. Without that, they'll be blind," he called out. Trying to summon the authority he reluctantly commanded. The crew, despite their initial reluctance, eventually rallied behind him, driven by the shared urgency of the moment. The ship whirred with focused energy as they prepared to launch their counterattack. "Brace for impact," Nara shouted, as the Krelthon ships unleashed a barrage of fire. Alex's hands gripped the controls, sweat dripping from his brow. He could hear the thundering of blaster fire echoing through the ship. Each jolt felt like a reminder of his vulnerability. "Hold steady," he commanded, trying to project confidence. The Endeavour rocked violently as shots struck her hull, rattling Alex more than he wanted to admit. He fought to maintain control, focusing on the flickering monitors showcasing their enemies. Suddenly, the ship trembled more violently, throwing everyone off balance. "Shields are failing!" a crew member yelled, panic rippling through the cabin. With seconds to react, Alex formulated a plan. Switch the energy from the engines to the forward shields. We need to buy time. Are you mad? Voss protested, disbelief etched across his face. But Alex locked eyes with him, steel determination embedded in that moment. It's our best shot. With a collective breath, they followed suit. As energy redirected, the shields flickered to life, absorbing the next wave of incoming fire. For a moment, silence enveloped them, a triumphant yet fragile pause in the chaos. But questions loomed. Would their makeshift strategy hold? And could Alex lead them into a real victory? Alex's heart raced, caught between the thrill of the fight and the uncertainty that drummed in the background. The battle had just begun. As the skirmish with the Krelthons continued, Alex found himself in a whirlwind of activity. Repairs and commands blended together, each moment pressing him further into the mantle of leadership. Nara, observing from her station, approached him with a spark of intrigue in her eyes. You know, for someone who claims to have stupid hands, you're doing quite well, Alex, she teased lightly, a hint of admiration dancing in her tone. Thanks, I guess, he replied, surprised at her compliment but skeptical of his own abilities. Nara's presence was calming, even amid the chaos. What's your secret, then? You seem so at ease in this madness. Because I've learned to trust in my skills, just as you should, she said, her voice steady. Every species has its talents, you know. Yours might be unconventional, but it's still valuable. Alex pondered her words, a flicker of realization igniting within him. He often dismissed humanity's idiosyncrasies, but perhaps there was value in their mechanical ingenuity. So, you think I can do this? Of course. It's not just about making the best decisions. It's about bringing everyone together, building trust, Nara encouraged, her eyes steady. As they continued to fend off attacks, Alex began fostering communication among the crew, drawing out their strengths. What about using the modified engines to outmaneuver their tactical drones, he asked, encouraging input from others. One of the weapons officers interrupted. That could work. I'll adjust the targeting protocols accordingly. In that moment, the crew began functioning as a cohesive unit. Alex felt the thrill of collaboration lifting his spirit. Trust started to blossom, and for the first time, he sensed the flicker of hope. Yet doubts still crept in. Could his hands, which he often deemed stupid, craft a victory here? Or would this battle unveil his deepest insecurities instead? The stakes were rising, and Alex was determined to find out. The battle continued, each clash with the Krelthons deepening the bond within the crew even as it tested Alex's abilities. His initial confidence began teetering on the edge when a barrage targeted the Endeavor's weapon systems, forcing Alex into a harrowing decision. Alex, we need those weapons offline, Voss shouted, panic lacing his voice after a failed ambush. We're sitting ducks out here. I know, Alex countered, feeling the pressure weigh heavily on him. We need to improvise. Disable the targeting protocols on the primary cannons while we make adjustments. Tension simmered in the air. Some crew members exchanged glances, doubt flickering in their eyes. The risk may not be worth it, one ventured, casting shadows of uncertainty about Alex's leadership. Everyone is depending on you to make the right call, Alex, Nara chimed in, her tone supportive yet firm. Smart risks are part of being a leader. His heart raced as he navigated the wave of self-doubt surging through him. He glanced at Hawk, who, though wounded, watched with intent. With a deep breath, Alex resolved, We don't have the luxury of waiting. Everyone trust me, this will work. The crew sprang into action. Alex focused on the controls, redirecting energy flows with shaky hands. As the Endeavor began to lurch, he felt hope mingling with escalating fear. What if they failed? The specter of defeat loomed large. As systems stabilized, the crew fell into a rhythm, communicating their adjustments and supporting one another. Alex gradually recognized that being a leader meant leaning on his team, not carrying the weight alone. The realization struck him. Their varied strengths were what made them formidable. Exhilaration surged through him when they successfully re-engaged their weapon systems. In that moment, amidst the chaos, the gravity of leadership began to take root in his heart. They would overcome their doubts together, one battle at a time. Days blurred together in a haze of battles, repairs, and cautious victories. Finally, the Endeavour emerged from the ominous shadows of the Krelthon's tyranny, delivering a fierce counterattack. It had become the crew's lifeblood, a fight not just for survival but for revenge. "Now," Alex roared, his voice echoing through the bridge, muscles tensing as he slapped the control panel. Their target was a heavily defended Krelthon cruiser. It was time to show them what a stupid mechanic could do. As they initiated their tactics, vibrant energy filled the cockpit. Nara piloted with artistry, weaving through enemy fire with grace. Every calculated move reflected the bond he was building with his crew. "Fire on my mark," Alex shouted. The crew held their breath. He hesitated, the weight of leadership heavy upon him. Just as he was about to order the strike, another explosion rocked the ship, shaking his resolve. A harrowing silence filled the room before the Krelthons retaliated with focused fire. But Alex refused to falter. "Steady, hold position." His hands, once dismissed as stupid, flew over buttons, calculating, strategizing, and redesigning tactics in real time. With newfound clarity, he shouted, "Now, fire!" The burst of energy erupted from the Endeavour, striking the Krelthon cruiser dead in its core. As flames erupted, cheers erupted throughout the cockpit. Alex's heart soared. They had done it. They fought back. The Krelthons began to retreat, and for the first time, victory felt tangible. But as the crew celebrated, they pointed out wounded comrades, shattered debris, and heavy costs paid. Alex took a breath, realizing it wasn't a simple win. Every skirmish held deeper stakes than he'd ever understood. They had survived this battle, but darkness still loomed ahead. As he watched the familiar faces filled with hope and resilience, Alex felt emboldened. Maybe these stupid hands could indeed craft more than machinery. They could forge a legacy of strength amidst adversity. The initial thrill of victory began to fade as reality set in. Struggling through the remnants of the battle, Alex's heart sank when he saw one of the crew, Ensign Lara, limping aboard, blood staining her uniform. She had risked everything. "Lara, no!" He rushed to support her, panic rising in his chest. She shook her head with a pained smile. "I'll be fine, Captain. Just a flesh wound." "Why did you leave your post? You should have retreated." His voice was harsher than intended, the reality of leadership smacking him across the face. Why did people keep putting themselves in danger? "I had to help my team," she replied softly, determination sparkling in her eyes. "We're in this together." Those words echoed in Alex's mind. Could he truly grasp the weight of leadership here? As he took a step back, absorbing the scene around him, he noticed others still reeling from the fight, their faces torn between camaraderie and the losses they had suffered. This wasn't just about wartime tactics. This was emotional investment, lives entwined in ways he hadn't yet fathomed. Later, as tensions simmered in the mess hall, Alex called a meeting. "I know things are hard," he began, the sincerity of his tone wrapping around the room. "Every choice we make involves sacrifice. But you must trust that we're fighting for more than survival," Nara interjected, her fierce gaze meeting Alex's. "We're fighting for each other." As discussions rolled into stories of lost comrades and hopeful futures, Alex felt a profound connection with his crew. He had to support them, shoulder their burdens, embody their hopes. With each shared memory, Alex recognized that failure wasn't an option. He began to understand that true leadership required empathy, a gentle understanding of humanity's fragility, both in his crew and in himself. Days passed, and their tensions remained, still charged in the air, but their spirits had begun to mend. While scavenging a derelict alien ship for much-needed supplies, the crew stumbled upon a hidden control room filled with technology and data terminals. "Let's see what we've got here," Alex said, fingers flying across the interface. His heart raced as information flashed across the screen. Battle schematics, troop movements, and something far more sinister. A planned invasion of Earth. "What?" Nara breathed, her eyes wide with disbelief. "They're preparing to strike your planet next." Hawk believed they wanted to gain control over human colonies, but this, Lara whispered. Their findings complicated their mission and amplified stakes beyond imagination. A buzz of urgency filled the air. "We need to warn the Council," Voss said. But how do we get this information back to them? The Krelthans will be hot on our trail after we reconcile here. We can't underestimate the gravity of their plans, Alex decided, adrenaline coursing through him. Inspired by their findings, he gathered everyone into a tight huddle, igniting the fire inside him once more. Let's not just survive. Let's turn the tables on them. With renewed determination, they began plotting their strategy, incorporating alien tech with their own. As the crew traded ideas, bonds forged deeper connections. Alex felt the thrill of collaboration as ideas flowed freely, and their conversations began brimming with optimism and ingenuity. How about we send a decoy signal, Nara suggested. Create a diversion, then slip back to alert Earth's defenses. You're thinking of a pincer maneuver, Alex replied, eyes alight with excitement. We'll distract them, strike from both ends. It's brilliant. Waves of laughter and excitement filled the air. Solutions began to take shape, and amidst the intensity, Alex grasped the unyielding truth. Together, they would confront any enemy. They would fight for their existence, united toward a common purpose. With their plan taking shape, the crew of the Endeavor prepared to forge alliances with other species affected by the Krelthans. Days of navigating war-torn planets formed bridges between civilizations and evolved into hopes for unity. As they landed on a distant, mist-laden world known for its fierce residents, the Valtarians, Alex's heart raced. Unfamiliar landscapes stretched before him, but he felt a blend of dread and excitement. I hope they're willing to listen, he murmured, glancing at Nara. The Valtarians, known for their towering stature and warlike tendencies, greeted them with cold expressions. Your kind's reputation precedes you. Why should we trust you? In that moment, a wave of doubt washed over Alex. Did humans have a reputation worth salvaging? Because we face a common enemy, he implored. You have suffered at their hands. Together, we have a chance to resist. The tension was palpable. Alex could see the resistance brewing, but he maintained an unwavering gaze. Our people may be different, but our desire for freedom unites us. Our success here could mean salvation for us all. As murmurs flowed through the crowd, one elder finally stepped forward. What do you propose, human? Using hastily gathered data, Alex laid out strategies for a combined effort, a way to form partnerships and repulse the Krelthans together. Voss passed forward details of methods tested in battle, pushing the conversation toward shared gripes against their enemy. Gradually, the Valtarians' demeanor softened as they recognized truths within the proposal. We have faced this darkness for too long, the elder stated firmly. Let's unite our might and topple this beast once and for all. As a newfound alliance formed, relief washed through Alex's body. The weight of their situation felt lighter. This alliance was proof of strength beyond individual might, a united front capable of challenging what lurked in the shadows. In the aftermath of their newfound alliances, the Endeavor transformed into a hub of activity and planning. Stretched across tables filled with maps and holographic displays, Alex coordinated strategies that blended human ingenuity with the unique capabilities of their new allies. We'll need coordinated strikes that utilize our strengths, Nara asserted, leading the discussions. Alex nodded, scribbling down ideas, his confidence swelling. Let's divide our forces. Some will attack head-on, while others set traps to catch their reinforcements off guard. The crew worked tirelessly, crafting plans that thrummed with energy and intent. As laughter mingled with determination, Alex marveled at how far they had come together, each individual contributing vital pieces to their shared strategy. But with every passing day, he sensed a rising tension, a pulse of uncertainty beneath their confidence. What if we fail? He found himself pondering as he lingered alone in the cockpit late one night, staring into the vastness of space. Captain, Nara's voice echoed softly, breaking through his thoughts. She stepped inside, her gaze unwavering. You okay? Just thinking about the risks, he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. What if it all falls apart? Nara tilted her head, glimmering with resolve. You are leading this team. You've earned their trust. Each of us is ready to fight with you. Her words comforted him, igniting flickers of determination in his spirit. They were no longer just a crew, but a family forged in battle. Alex gazed out at the stars, wondering about the fate that awaited them. "We're not just fighting for survival anymore," he stated, fresh conviction radiating from his being. "We're fighting for each other, for every life that breathes beneath the stars." As dawn broke, signaling their approach to battle, Alex felt an electric buzz in the air, a strange blend of dread and hope. They would face the Krelthons together, transformed into warriors forged by struggle and unified under the banner of resilience. With the Endeavor fully armed and allies arrayed, the day of reckoning arrived. The bridge simmered with intensity as they prepared for the final confrontation against the Krelthons, a battle that could shift the tide of fortune for their respective species. "Can you see their fleet?" Alex asked, gripping the control panel tightly, heart racing as they closed in on the Krelthon base. "Plenty of enemies ahead, Captain," Nara replied, voice resolute. "Let's hope we can execute the plan." With a deep breath, Alex rallied the crew. "Today we show them that our unity isn't just a mere alliance. We're here to fight back. Follow my lead on my mark, and remember, trust each other." The Endeavor charged forward through the shimmering void as enemy ships loomed on the scanners, a dark wave of destruction. In that moment, time seemed to slow. Adrenaline coursed through him, his fingers tingling with anticipation. "Steady, now!" Alex shouted, as they plunged into the fray. Explosions erupted all around, sending shockwaves rattling through the ship. Sparks flew, and alarms blared as the Krelthon ships returned fire, filling the battle with chaos. The crew maneuvered with exhilarating precision, each member playing their role in executing their plan. Nara weaved expertly through gaps in the enemy line, while Voss provided steady cover fire. "Split into 2 lines, keep them guessing," Alex called out, adrenaline amplifying his voice. But their decisive maneuver didn't come without cost. "Captain, the shields are down," Lara yelled, panic lacing her words. "Redirect power from the engines." He fought back against the wave of dread, fighting for their chance to win this battle. In the face of overwhelming odds, his confidence surged. Knowing their determination echoed throughout the crew, he focused on each command, keeping cool in the storm. "We can do this together." As they executed their final strike against the Krelthon command ship, he felt exhilaration intertwining with fear. This was more than survival. It was about reclaiming hope and sparking change within the galaxy. As they launched the decisive shots, silence settled before all chaos erupted. Chaos erupted as the Krelthon command ship crumbled, signaling victory. Emerging victorious brought joy mingled with a heavy reality. The battle had paved a new path forward, yet the scars of loss lingered long after the echoes of destruction faded. Towers of wreckage floated amongst stars, evidence of the conflict waged and what had been achieved. The bridge hummed with exhaustion as Alex surveyed the results of their efforts. But deep within, doubts crept into his heart. Had they truly won? And at what cost? As cheers erupted, Alex quieted them. "Everyone, thank you. But this victory isn't just about our enemies. It's about those we lost along the way," he said solemnly, eyes trailing over the faces staring back at him. "We turned back the tide," Nara stated vehemently, fierce determination radiating from her presence. "Together we are unstoppable." "Indeed. Without each of you, we wouldn't have made it," Alex affirmed, the fire inside him igniting hope once more. Each sacrifice mattered, fueling the flames of determination for this newfound family. Moments of celebration morphed into steely resolve, sending electric currents among the crew. They'd thrived on their defiance, and now it was time to think strategically about the aftermath. Diminished forces remained, and a looming threat needed addressing. As discussions unfolded, Alex realized the path ahead wasn't just about retaliation, but reconciliation too. "It's time we foster diplomacy and healing," he urged, standing before them, infused with newfound purpose. "Use our successes to challenge the cycle of violence, not repeat it. There's more to leadership than just battle," he reiterated, a soft strength reflecting within his voice. The room fell into thoughtful silence. With purpose reignited in the air, they turned their collective spirit towards forging paths of understanding. Through dialogue, they would illustrate a vision that transcended animosity. As they began to lay plans for a sustainable peace, Alex understood that the path ahead demanded both strength and compassion, a commitment to building friendships that rivaled the most powerful weapons in the galaxy. Weeks passed as they navigated the aftermath of war. The Endeavor, now a beacon of hope, set a course for Earth to deliver news of their victory and new alliances. Alex stared at the stars, a flood of emotions swirling within him. He glanced down at his hands, once deemed stupid for their apparent clumsiness. "They've built something truly remarkable," he mused aloud, marveling at how far he had come. The warm laughter and chatter of his crew filled the air, now tinged with a deep sense of camaraderie. In every shared glance and conversation, there flickered a newfound strength, one that demonstrated faith beyond physical prowess. "Reflect on this, Captain," Nara exclaimed brightly, tossing a holographic projection towards him. "Look at the new intergalactic alliance we're forging. Your hands helped shape it all." He smiled, memories flooding back to days filled with doubts and fears. "But it wasn't just me," he insisted. "We all did this together." A weight lifted as the enormity of his leadership settled into his heart. His so-called stupidity transformed. These hands had forged more than machinery. They had crafted bonds of resiliency across galaxies, embodying the spirit of cooperation. As they neared Earth, hope ignited within him to bridge the universe with understanding, a gift yet unwrapped. "Let's not forget what we've learned," he declared, resolve coating his voice. "Together, we've crafted a story worth telling, one full of ingenuity, compassion, and the power of our diverse hands." The crew cheered, their voices rising like a harmonious symphony. The journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, but Alex felt assured. They were a family now, a constellation formed not just from clumsy beginnings, but an expansive universe of potential. As the Endeavor's engines thrummed, Alex found peace in the knowledge that his journey had only just begun. Together as allies, they would venture forth, hands held high, ready to embrace the stars, one extraordinary step at a time.